Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching the video and leaving such heartfelt comments. Wishing the whole family good health and peace. James stepped into his house, a familiar space, his staff waiting, duty his focus. The team gathered in the living room, a serious meeting, their voices low, teamwork their bond. They discuss project delays, a pressing concern. Their hands flipping papers, effort their drive. James listened closely, a careful leader, his mind sharp, trust his foundation. The staff shared updates, a detailed report. Their tones urgent, loyalty their strength. He suggested solutions, a strategic plan, his voice firm, authority his guide. The team nodded, a shared agreement, their pens scribbling, unity their goal. James thought of Diep, a warm distraction, her smile vivid, affection his light. The meeting wrapped up, a task complete. His heart steady, responsibility his anchor. He stood to leave, a quick departure, his steps brisk, purpose his direction. On the road a sudden sight, Diep walking alone, effort her pace. James slowed his car, a kind gesture, his voice calling, care his intent. Hop in, he said, a warm invitation, his smile wide, kindness his warmth. Diep climbed in, a grateful nod, her eyes bright, gratitude her response. The car hummed softly, a smooth ride, their conversation light, connection their joy. They drove to his guava orchard, a shared journey, their hands ready, excitement their fuel. James parked the car, a careful stop, his door opening, anticipation his spark. Diep stepped out, a curious gaze, her basket in hand, eagerness her spirit. They walked to the trees, a united pair, their laughter echoing, love their bond. The orchard awaited, a fruitful task. Their day unfolding, partnership their strength. A photo of Diep sat on the dashboard, a cherished keepsake, his heart softening, love his warmth. James adjusted the mirror, a cautious habit, his eyes scanning, vigilance his trait. Diep pointed to a shop, a playful suggestion, her voice cheerful, joy her tone. We'll stop later, James replied, a gentle promise, his focus on the task, duty his guide. The car's radio played softly, a soothing melody, their mood-lifting connection their joy. They shared a memory, a fond recollection, their voices soft, nostalgia their bond. Diep spoke of her childhood, a tender story, her eyes bright, happiness her light. James listened intently, a supportive ear, his hand on hers, affection his response. The road stretched ahead, a clear path, their journey smooth, love their anchor. They arrived at the orchard, a new beginning, their hands ready, partnership their strength. James and Diep stood among the guava trees, a shared task, their hands reaching, love their guide. They picked the fruits, a careful selection, their fingers gentle, care their focus. James plucked a guava, a ripe choice, his voice cheerful, curiosity his tone. Let's taste it, he said, a playful suggestion, his smile wide, joy his light. Diep nodded, a delighted agreement, her bite crisp, satisfaction her reward. The fruit was sweet, a perfect harvest, their eyes meeting, approval their bond. They continued picking, a steady rhythm, their hands swift, teamwork their strength. Each guava was large, a promising yield, their basket filling, effort their pride. Diep laughed softly, a happy sound, her heart full, happiness her warmth. James watched her, a tender gaze, his chest warm, affection his anchor. They worked in sync, a seamless flow, their movements precise, unity their goal. The basket grew heavy, a successful haul, their task complete, achievement their joy. James wiped his brow, a brief pause, his hands stained, labor his mark. Diep tied the basket, a final touch, her focus sharp, diligence her trait. They carried it to the car, a united effort, their steps firm, purpose their drive. A rival farmer watched from afar, a hidden threat, his eyes cold, envy his motive. He whispered to a worker, a sly plot, his voice low, malice his intent. James and Diep remained unaware, a blissful ignorance, their laughter echoing, love their shield. They loaded the guavas, a careful placement, their hands steady, care their bond. The car awaited, a ready transport, their journey continuing, partnership their strength. Diep adjusted her scarf, a small gesture, her hands careful, comfort her focus. James pulled out a water bottle, a thoughtful act, his voice soft, kindness his intent. They shared a sip, a refreshing moment, their smiles shared, connection their joy. A child ran by, a curious glance, his wave friendly, innocence his charm. Diep waved back a gentle response, her heart light warmth her response. They checked the basket, a final inspection, their eyes sharp, diligence their trait. James thought of the market, a future plan, his mind focused, ambition his drive. Diep thought of their home, a cozy haven, her heart steady, peace her goal. They climbed into the car, a united pair, their hands touching, love their anchor. The engine roared to life, a new journey, their day unfolding, partnership their strength. James drove to the city market, a focused journey, his hands on the wheel, love his guide. Diep sat beside him, a cheerful companion, her basket secure, excitement her spark. They parked near the roadside, a strategic spot, their steps quick, purpose their drive. They set up their stall, a quick arrangement, their hands busy, teamwork their strength. The guavas gleamed, a vibrant display, their voices calling, charm their tool. People passed by, a bustling crowd, their stall attracting, success their goal. Customers stopped, a steady flow, their hands exchanging, sales their reward. Fresh guavas! Diep shouted, a lively pitch, her smile bright, enthusiasm her light. James handed out fruits, a helpful act, his tone warm, kindness his warmth. The market buzzed, a chaotic energy, their stall thriving, effort their pride. A rival vendor approached, a hidden agenda, his smile false, deceit his mask. He bought a guava, a sly purchase, his hands quick, sabotage his plan. He dropped a spoiled fruit nearby, a subtle trick, his smirk cold, malice his intent. James noticed the fruit, a sudden suspicion, his eyes narrowing, caution his response. Diep felt uneasy, a growing doubt, her heart racing, worry her shadow. They continued selling, a determined pace, their focus sharp, resilience their bond. The basket emptied, a successful day, their earnings heavy, achievement their joy. James brushed off the incident, a cautious dismissal, his mind alert, vigilance his trait. Diep counted their money, a careful tally, her hands steady, diligence her strength. The market faded, a past scene, their day winding down, love their anchor. A regular customer waved, a familiar face, his voice cheerful, loyalty his tone. Diep smiled back, a warm greeting, her heart full, gratitude her response. James packed the remaining guavas, a final task, his hands swift, efficiency his focus. A street musician played nearby, a lively tune, his melody uplifting, joy his gift. Diep tapped her foot, a playful rhythm, her spirit high, happiness her light. They shared a laugh, a shared moment, their eyes meeting, connection their joy. James thought of their home, a cozy retreat, his mind drifting, peace his goal. Diep thought of their harvest, a shared labor, her pride swelling, effort her reward. They folded their stall cloth, a careful fold, their hands in sync, teamwork their bond. The market day ended, a successful close, their journey home begun, love their guide. Said, a kind offer, his voice soft, kindness his intent. He jogged to a nearby stall, a quick errand, his steps brisk, purpose his drive. Diep sat by the stall, a brief rest, her hands folded, relief her feeling. She watched the crowd, a curious gaze, her mind wandering, reflection her state. James returned with 2 bottles, a refreshing gift, his smile wide, joy his light. Here you go, he said, a warm gesture, his hand extended, affection his warmth. Diep took the bottle, a grateful nod, her sip cool, gratitude her response. They drank together, a shared moment, their laughter soft, connection their bond. The market noise faded, a distant hum, their focus on each other, love their anchor. A mysterious figure watched them, a hidden observer, his phone buzzing, secrecy his mask. He made a call, a quiet plot, his voice low, menace his tone. They're at the market, he reported, a chilling update, his intent dark, danger his goal. James felt a chill, a sudden unease, his eyes scanning, alertness his trait. Diep sensed his tension, a growing worry, her hand on his, support her strength. They finished their drinks, a quick break, their bottles empty, refreshment their reward. James packed up the stall, a final task, his hands swift, efficiency his focus. Diep helped him, a united effort, their movements in sync, teamwork their bond. They loaded the car, a careful placement, their steps firm, purpose their drive. The market day ended, a successful close, their journey home begun, love their guide. A child approached Diep, a shy request, his voice small, innocence his charm. Can I have a guava? he asked, a hopeful plea, his eyes wide, curiosity his spark. Diep handed him one, a generous act, her smile warm, kindness her warmth. The child thanked her, a polite bow, his joy evident, happiness his light. James watched the exchange, a tender gaze, his heart full, affection his response. They shared a quiet moment, a brief pause, their hands touching, connection their joy. Diep thought of the harvest, a shared memory, her pride swelling, effort her reward. James thought of the rival, a lingering doubt, his mind alert, vigilance his trait. They climbed into the car, a united pair. Their journey homeward, love their anchor. The market faded behind, a past chapter. Their day winding down, partnership their strength. James drove them home, a calm journey, his hand steady, love his guide. Diep sat quietly, a content passenger, her thoughts drifting, peace her state. They arrived at the house, a familiar haven, their steps slow, relief their feeling. The guava basket stayed in the car, a task for later, their focus on rest, comfort their goal. They stepped inside, a warm welcome, their home cozy, love their anchor. James grabbed a book, a thoughtful choice, his voice soft, suggestion his intent. Let's read together, he said, a gentle idea, his smile warm, affection his light. Diep nodded, a delighted agreement, her eyes bright, joy her response. They sat on the couch, a shared space, their shoulders touching, closeness their bond. The book opened, a new story, their voices alternating, connection their strength. They read in turns, a soothing rhythm, their words soft, harmony their tone. Diep laughed at a passage, a happy sound, her heart light, happiness her warmth. James watched her, a tender gaze, his chest warm, affection his guide. The room felt serene, a quiet haven, their minds engaged, love their foundation. They turned the pages, a steady pace, their focus shared, unity their joy. A phone rang suddenly, a sharp interruption, its tone jarring, urgency its signal. James answered it, a cautious move, his voice low, alertness his trait. We know what you did, the caller hissed, a chilling threat, malice its intent. Diep's eyes widened, a sudden fear, her hand trembling, worry her shadow. They exchanged a glance, a silent pact, their resolve firm, love their strength. A photo frame sat on the table, a cherished memory, their smiles captured, love their history. Diep touched it gently, a tender gesture, her heart steady, nostalgia her warmth. James thought of his staff, a loyal team, his trust firm, support his anchor. They continued reading, a defiant act, their voices steady, resilience their bond. The room glowed with warmth, a cozy retreat, their connection deepening, love their guide. Diep pulled a blanket over them, a comforting act, her hands gentle, care her focus. James adjusted the lamp, a soft glow, his touch careful, comfort his intent. They shared a quiet laugh, a shared moment, their eyes meeting, joy their light. The book's story unfolded, a captivating tale. Their minds engaged, unity their strength. The day's tension faded, a distant memory, their love enduring, partnership their joy. James hung up the phone, a heavy burden, his mind racing, resolve his focus. Diep sat closer, a steady support, her hand on his, care her strength. Who was that? She asked, a quiet question, her voice soft, concern her tone. James shook his head, a guarded response, his eyes dark, caution his trait. The book lay forgotten, a paused story, their focus shifting, urgency their drive. He stood to check the windows, a careful inspection, his steps silent, vigilance his guide. Diep followed him, a united front, her heart racing, support her role. They found a note on the table, a hidden message, its words sharp, menace its intent. Stop selling, it warned, a stark threat, the rival's hand clear, danger its goal. James clenched his fists, a rising anger, his voice firm, determination his fire. They sat back down, a focused meeting, their voices low, strategy their bond. James suggested a plan, a bold idea, his tone steady, leadership his strength. We'll report this, he said, a decisive move, his eyes sharp, justice his aim. Diep nodded, a firm agreement, her hand squeezing his, trust her response. They wrote down details, a careful record, their pens swift, effort their unity. The room felt tense, a planning hub, their resolve growing, love their anchor. Diep thought of the market, a past memory, the rival's sabotage vivid, fear her shadow. James thought of their guavas, a shared labor, their basket heavy, pride their reward. They finished the note, a task complete, their hands steady purpose their drive. They held each other, a tender embrace, their hearts aligned, love their strength. A neighbor knocked at the door, a sudden interruption, his voice urgent, concern his tone. "I saw someone outside," he said, a worried warning, his eyes wide, alertness his trait. James thanked him, a quick response, his mind racing, vigilance his focus. Diep pulled out a flashlight, a practical tool, her hands steady, readiness her intent. They stepped outside, a cautious search, their steps quiet, teamwork their bond. The yard was empty, a false alarm, their tension easing, relief their feeling. They returned inside, a shared sigh, their hands clasped, connection their joy. James thought of their future, a hopeful vision, his heart steady, ambition his guide. Diep thought of their book, a pause story, her mind eager, peace her goal. The room glowed with warmth, a safe haven, their love enduring, partnership their strength.
Uy tín trong cộng đồng, phong tục bảo vệ môi trường, người dân trên bản làng thường có ý thức bảo vệ môi trường, bảo vệ rừng, bảo vệ nguồn nước. Các phong tục trên bản làng đóng vai trò quan trọng trong việc tăng cường sự đoàn kết, thống nhất trong cộng đồng và bảo tồn phát huy văn hóa truyền thống địa phương, cải thiện chất lượng cuộc sống và tăng cường sự hạnh phúc của người dân, tạo ra sự ổn định và an ninh của cộng đồng. Lễ hội là một phần quan trọng của văn hóa và truyền thống Việt Nam. Mỗi tỉnh ở Việt Nam đều có những lễ hội riêng biệt, phản ánh lịch sử, văn hóa và tín ngưỡng của địa phương. Dưới đây là một số lễ hội nổi tiếng của các tỉnh ở Việt Nam Bắc Bộ, như lễ hội ở Chùa Hương, Hà Nội, một trong những lễ hội lớn và nổi tiếng nhất ở Việt Nam, thu hút hàng triệu du khách mỗi năm. Lễ hội Gióng Hà Nội, lễ hội này kỷ niệm chiến thắng của Thánh Gióng chống lại quân xâm lược. Lễ hội Đền Hùng, lễ hội này kỷ niệm các vua hùng, những người đã có công xây dựng đất nước.